Resort Casino.
Are you ready for some football?
And it is the Monday, April 21st edition of Trojans Live, Spring Football Edition. We'll talk about all that's going down, what's the latest, as we get ready for the fall season of USC college football. Plus, cover the rest of the USC athletics world. It's all ahead tonight on Trojans Live, the exclusive USC Trojans Coaches Show. Behind-the-scenes insights and breaking news from the student athletes who play for the Cardinal and Gold. Trojans Live is presented by Monster Energy. Monster Energy, unleash the beast.
Unleash the beast.
Now live from Los Angeles, inside Heritage Hall, along with Keely Orr and Sean Cody, here is your host, Jordan Moore.
Hello and welcome to Trojans Live, presented by Monster Energy on ESPN LA, AM 710 across the USC Trojans Media Network. I am Jordan Moore alongside Keely Orr. We don't have Sean Cody today. We don't have Cody Kessler. This is our final Trojans Live of the spring, so Keely and I will take it home for you, along with our new cornerbacks coach, Trovon Reed, who joins us now. Our USC coach interview is presented by I Trust Capital, the official crypto platform of the USC Trojans. First things first, Coach, congratulations, man. You just welcomed two twin boys to your family.
Appreciate it, man. Appreciate it. I haven't got any sleep yet. I'm rolling right now, but, hey, I feel good.
What are their names?
Ace and Deuce.
So 1 and 2.
1 and 2.
I love that. Are they? So now you got they could play corner together. Have you ever coached twins before?
I haven't. Well, I did at UCF last season.
Wow.
That'd be kind of sick. We had twins that won us beach volleyball national championship.
Really?
There's a long history of twins at USC. We had a twin guards in the backcourt twice for the men's basketball program. So I'm trying to think, I could do a whole list of twins at USC. But welcome, Coach. You come over from UCF. That's where you were last year. What ultimately sold you on USC?
Talking to Coach Lynn and Coach Riley. One, when I got the phone call from Coach Riley, it was really a no-brainer, but I had to sit down with the wife, discuss it. We really didn't discuss it. I already had my mind made up.
But you got to run it by the boss.
Got to run it by the boss. But, man, I've been following that guy's career. Been a fan from afar. He's a winner. And I couldn't imagine passing up this opportunity to help him get this thing back turned around. He's a great guy. Man, again, when he called my phone, I thought it was a prank. I thought it was a prank. I thought it was one of my homeboys playing. So I'm like, man, stop playing. He was like, nah, this really me. But, man, I'm so grateful for this opportunity, man. He's going to get my best every day.
With that being said, how's spring been so far?
Spring been great. The energy great. The way he structures things is great. Man, he's a winner. I'm surrounded by winners, so I have no other choice but to be a winner. And that's how the players going to feel. That's how the fans are going to feel. That's how we want this whole thing to feel.
Take us through your coaching career to get here, because you were doing some off-field stuff. I mean, you really had to sort of work your way into this position.
Yes, and it happened so fast. I was going to take the general manager role. I had some opportunities coming up. I went and talked to Coach Freeze about them. And I talked to him on Tuesday about a possible general manager role in the SEC.
This is at Auburn for people.
Yeah, I'm at Auburn, yep. Right? And he was like, okay, T. Reed, we got to figure something out, right? So he was like, just give me till tomorrow. Well, tomorrow came, then another school offer. So I was like, hey, you're going to have to call Coach Freeze right now, because I think I got him in a pickle right now. Thursday, Coach Malzahn called and offered me the corner job. So I'm like, Coach, he not going to believe this. So you really have to call him. So Coach Malzahn called him, and I was on the plane on Friday. And I've been rolling ever since, man. And a lot of success happened early for me to get here, and I'm just grateful. I'm just grateful. It's a road that's untaken. I don't think no one ever took this road, skipping being a GA, skipping being a QC, being an analyst, like just skipping and coming straight to be a cornerback coach at probably one of the biggest universities in the world. So, man, I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful, honestly.
In this era of college football, how helpful is it, though, that you had that recruiting role at Auburn?
It's without that role, I don't know if I'll be here. That role taught me so much about the importance of recruiting. That's why I feel like I'm one of the best at it, right? I know the importance. I know that no stone could go unturned. You can't get lackadaisical. You can't miss up. You miss one thing and you lose a kid. So you have to be on point. And man, I did that for 3 years, and I started climbing the ranks real fast in that, and now I'm in this coaching thing, and I'm still using my same tactics, just building real relationships, man, and letting them play out.
You're listening to USC's new cornerbacks coach, Trovon Reed, on Trojans Live. And once upon a time, you were a big-time recruit. You were a 5-star recruit coming out of high school. Give us that perspective on how the business has completely shifted, since that point. How you were recruited versus how you're recruiting players now. Or maybe it isn't that different. It's different. It's different.
It's a little different, man. I was blessed enough to be rated real high coming out, and again, it wasn't the NIL and everything that wasn't in the play. Everything was basically if dirt was going down, it was under the table.
Yeah.
And I wasn't raised like that. My mom didn't raise me like that, so I didn't take anything. And if I wanted to, I could have got a lot from the position I was in, but man, I chose to do it the right way. And I went to Auburn, the school that I fell in love with my heart. And, man, it played out. I didn't have the greatest career like I wanted to, but some way, somehow, I believed in the man upstairs. And he gave me a shot in the NFL, and I took advantage of it.
How about now, though? I mean, what are the different sort of approaches in terms of how they were recruiting you, I mean, in this NIL world?
It got as good, it got as bad. I think now it's too much about the money.
Yeah.
I think some kids pass up on great opportunities to get an extra $20,000.
Right.
Right. And in reality, we trying to get you $20 million from the NFL in the first round. So I think if parents and young men actually sit down and break this thing down, they will go back to the old tactics. Go to the school that you fall in love with, and let the money be the money. Because if you do that, one, you'll be happy. And that's no money could buy happiness. You'll be happy, and you'll be around some people who actually care about you. Whether you catch a pick or whether you get bound for a touchdown, they'll still love you, right? Because nowadays with the money involved, it's hard to go back to that. So at some programs, but like here, you walk in here and it's all love from everyone, from the players to the coaches to the staff to Katie. Like it's love everywhere. So I can't see why a kid wouldn't want to come here if they step foot in this building.
What's fascinating about your career, even going back to your playing days, you were majority of the time a wide receiver.
Right.
What perspective does that give you when you're coaching up corners, as far as, this is what I would do as a wide receiver, this is how you guard against me? Like, how much does that help you in that regard?
That's kind of my cheat, right? Because I could look at the splits from our receivers and know exactly what's coming, because I was once in those same splits, right? So it'd be days when my corners are like, Coach, how you knew that was coming? I just tell them I know magic, right? But in actuality, I studied the game. I played the game on offense. I had to really study it. So it's like it might sound creepy. It's like I can see it before it comes. Yeah. And it's crazy, but once I see you lined up, once I see your feet, once I see how you moving your gloves, I know what's coming. And I'm trying to get my guys to understand that. And some are picking up really fast. Some still trying to trust the process. So it's unique, and we're gonna do something special.
You're working with Doug Belk back there. Also have Danton, who has a long history. Coaching defense, coaching the secondary. What are you taking from those guys in your first spring with them? Oh man,
I'm learning a lot from both of them. Both of these guys been around this game for a long time. I actually had a great talk with Coach Lynn before I took the job. And, man, it was a no-brainer with him. When I sat down, we talked for like 45 minutes. I wanted to tell him right then and there I was coming, because he sold me on the culture. He sold me on his philosophies, and everything he stood for, I stand for that. He's about the kids. He's about making this place better, and I was all in from the jump. And Belk, I learned so much from him also. He coached some high-level DBs, because I'm still young in the game. So I'm still learning some things, like from the safety position and all that. So every day I'm in his office just learning, just sharpening my knife. So when, say, he get COVID or anything, I could just pick up and there's no drop-off nowhere in the room. Coach Lynn, me and Belk going to handle it. Like, it's however it goes, we all going to be ready for whatever.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but from what we're hearing, both corner spots are up for grabs. What are you seeing with that competition?
The guys are competing. They're having fun, and it's a real open competition. Everyone is making plays, and everyone is trying to separate themselves from the pack. So it's a real competition, and this thing is going to go all the way into the first week of this season. So I love it. I love it. I'm a new coach here. I don't care what happened last year. I don't care if you didn't play. I don't care if you're 16. I don't care if you're 35. If you're on this roster and you play corner and you show up every day and work, you're going to have a chance to play.
Tell us about DJ Harvey, because he is a guy that has come here with a lot of playing experience behind him.
He's a good player. He's also one of the leaders in that corner room, him and DeCarlos Nicholson. D-Nick, I should say. He don't want me to call him DeCarlos no more. I told him he got to earn D-Nick back. But, DJ, he's a leader. It's natural to him. The kid got a net for the ball. He got 5 interceptions in his career. He fits the culture. Like, him and Kamari been together since Pee Wee League, and all they talk about is their times versus each other in Pee Wee League. So what I made them do was pull up some old film. I want to see who the best, right? So Kamari won the matchup. So now they saying after spring they're gonna go at it and all that. But man, he just fit in like he's been here, right? And he got here a few days before I got here.
Yeah.
So just seeing that let me know that the culture was already getting set in this building. I just added to it, and I'm happy to be a part of it.
We got to talk to DJ Harvey last week, and he actually mentioned the bond he has with you off the field. He said that you guys were both kind of new together. Describe what you guys are like off the field.
It's like I don't want to say father and son because I don't want that to sound like that, but it's really close. It's really close. And, again, I'm like that with all my guys. I want to build a real relationship because I want to tell you the truth. When you balling, I'm going to tell you you're balling. When you playing like poop, I'm going to tell you you're playing like poop, right? But that's me and your conversation. I'm not going to embarrass you in front of everybody. I'm going to pull you to the side, and I'm going to tell you. And it's the same thing off the field. Like, I want to know what's going on in real life. Like, okay, when we on the field, we're going to handle what's on the field. But when we off the field, what's going on in real life? And they appreciate that. They appreciate me checking on their mental health because that's important, you know. They all know my story. I grew up with Kyron. That's why I named my second son Deuce. I was number 1 my whole career. Kyron was number 2. So that's why I went with Ace and Deuce. Kyron with the mental health situation at LSU. We grew up, Thibodeau, everything together. I was like a mentor, a big brother to him. So I make sure every day I check on my guys, whether it's through text message, whatever, any kind of way I could get to them, even if it's a DM on Instagram. I just want to hear from you to make sure you're good. Because I know once you get between those white lines, you're going to be okay because you're doing what you love. But when you step outside of those white lines, you are a human. You do go through things. And I want you to know that you have a coach that cares.
That's amazing. That's fantastic. It was our first year in the Big Ten last year. I don't think you have Big Ten on your resume from the past. I was wondering how much you looked at it because in some of our sort of conversations about how things are different, the cornerback position came up a lot. One, when the league did throw the ball, it felt like no one threw the ball on us for the first half of the season, and everyone threw in the second half of the season. So it's a little bit just, there's 18 teams. The opponents are, completely different, some of them, from the others. But then just the physicality that they allow at the top of routes was just night and day from what we were dealing with in the Pac-12. And we talked a little bit. I mean, you still want to coach good technique, right? You don't want to teach guys to grab even if they're not going to throw PI. But like, how do you look at it? Look at the Big Ten, particularly from your position and how that position is refereed and how the opponent plays it, et cetera. The challenge that you face in this league.
I tell my guys every day, man, we're not backing down from nobody. I tell them, and they always laugh when I say this. I say, if my newborns get out there in front of me, I'm going to put hands on them. When I'm in between the white lines, anything goes. Whoever's standing in front of me is a mindset. So that's how we're going to approach every game. It don't matter who we playing, where we playing. If they line up in front of you, we putting hands on them. And if they do let us grab and tussle a little bit, if we could do that, we're not going to complain when they hold us. So get them off you. So it's a mindset both ways, right? Because if we could grab the receivers and they're not going to call it, why they can't hold us in the run game? So I teach them every day to make sure no one hold you. So we do all type of drills, and they get physical. And we're going to be physical. We're going to tackle, and we're going to fake whoever in front of us. We're going to line up, and we're going to play ball, and we're going to find a way to win. That's the mindset. Building
off of that corner, you're on an island. You have to have a short memory. How do you build up that mental aspect of being a corner and being on an island?
I put pressure on them at practice. They never know when I'm going to say it, but I'll tell you right now, I'll just come to you, hey, it's 4th and 3. It could be 1st and 10, but for you, it's 4th and 3. If you catch the ball, you got to see me after practice. Wow. So just putting certain pressures on them now, so when we get to the fall, they just going to remember. Some going to click in their head. They're going to say it's 4th and 3, and they know it's time to turn it on. Because if you approach everything with a 4th and 3 mindset, you're going to be urgent, right? 4th and 3, you don't know if they're running or they passing. So you got to be ready to hit somebody or cover somebody. So if you have that mindset, if you develop that, and that's what I'm doing. We ain't there yet, but we getting close. And everybody is in the room, from the older guys to the freshmen. We developing a 4th and 3 mindset. And it's going to be a sight to see if we could continue to build on it.
All right, can't wait. Great to meet you, Coach, and welcome to the Trojan family. Congratulations, son.
Yes.
Your two twin new babies. That's just fantastic. Hope you get some sleep at some point here. But good luck to you with that. We got big Keeshawn Silver coming up next, ready to take it to the next level. Unleash the beast this college tailgate season with Monster Energy. Tear into a can of the meanest energy drink on the planet. Monster Energy, unleash the beast. And USC fans, you can win a 4-bedroom, 3-bath home in Temecula Valley. Play slots or table games at Pechanga Resort Casino through May 30 to earn entries. Visit pechanga.com or call 888-PECHANGA for details. Back with more Trojans Live next.
Network, presented by Pechanga Resort Casino.
Touchdown, USC.
And it is Trojans Live on this Monday, April 21st. Getting you ready for the USC football season all over spring football. Time to talk some USC defense as we get ready for another season this fall. Along with Keely Orr, back to your host, Jordan Moore.
And our Best in the Game is brought to you by Old Dominion Freight Line, official freight carrier of USA Athletics, helping the world keep promises. Jordan Moore, Keely Orr. We are joined now by our Best in the Game, Keeshawn Silver. Man, everyone was very excited to have joined the Trojan family now. Redshirt senior defensive tackle, comes over from Kentucky last couple years. Get that mic right up on you. There you go. What brought you? What ultimately was the deciding factor to get you to come all the way out here?
The coaching staff for sure. I seen a couple coaches down the process that I really liked, but this coaching staff stood out the most. So,
you're a 5-star coming out of high school. You're one of the top defensive line prospects in the portal. How did those two recruiting processes compare?
I think the first time was pretty rough. Coming out being a 5-star recruit. Everybody in the world wanted you, and then the second time was pretty much like he showed flashes in college. So how can I progress myself to be that guy? So the first time was definitely harder. Just the rankings and stuff.
It's funny with that ranking for guys. It can kind of be a label that gets put on you, but you got to earn it all over again when you get to college. Was that difficult for you? Coming in with all those expectations, and is there something you've learned over your 4 years that you've sort of been able to put that behind you and focus more on your present day?
The first 2 years of my college career is pretty challenging mentally, but over time I kind of grew past it to the person I am today. I'm kind of glad I went through those adversity days to now. So now I feel good about it.
Coming in and being the new guy, but also being a redshirt senior, what was that like for you to kind of get ready to or get used to the Trojan life?
That's different. California is different from North Carolina, so it's a big difference.
How is it different?
Just like country to city, like just going down the street is different. Like just seeing a lot of people every day. Like North Carolina, you really don't see that many people on the street as much as it is here. So.
We had John Jarrett sitting in that chair last week. You guys known each other for a while, though.
Yeah, wow, no, it's been years. So,
what was your relationship there?
So when I was at North Carolina, I was recruiting him. So to get him here and to actually play with him for once that I've been trying to do it forever. So just to play with him for my last year, it really meant a lot.
What's the spring practices? What have they been like for you?
Been good. I've been having fun with the guys. I love being around the guys and just seeing the guys grow, especially the young guys. Just come every day, just being prepared every day. So.
You're listening to Keeshawn Silver on Trojans Live, and you work with Sean Nua and Coach Henderson every day. We just constantly hear about Coach Henny. What is it about him that players gravitate towards him that makes guys just super excited to play for him?
He's a people person. Like someone that could talk to you. Sometimes you just have the people that's so professional. Then you just need that guy that's going to give it to you. Straight. Like how can you understand? How can I teach you? He's that type of guy. So it's just nice to have someone that you could talk to that can explain it the way that you like to learn.
At this point in your career, what are you trying to work on? What are you trying to improve?
Just being a more vocal leader. That was my biggest thing. Just being more of a pass rusher, because I thought I was pretty dominant in the run, just being able to convert the pass on certain downs and, just studying the game more, just becoming the best that I can be,
Take people inside your position a little bit, because sometimes it's a situation where it's not easy to quantify what you do in stats, right? You're not necessarily going to lead the team in tackles. You love to get a sack, but you're not likely to lead the conference in a category like that. But you can have that kind of impact. So walk people through sort of what you process as a good rep, even if doesn't end in something that ends up in the box score.
Taking a double team, knocking a man back in front of you. I think that's an elite rep, just being able to control the line of scrimmage, especially if you're at the zero tech, just taking on a double team, knocking back the center. You're not going to make every play. Like last year, I showed on tape that I didn't make every play, but I was a person that was there that contributed, you know what I'm saying? So when the ball bounced outside, just know it's because of me. So.
Now, I don't know if this was planned, but the majority of the defensive linemen on this roster have a single digit. Mm-hmm. Was that a thing, a vibe that you were going for, or did that just happen?
I think it just randomly happened.
Okay.
It was pretty cool.
Is there a story behind 9? How'd you end up with 9?
So when I was at North Carolina my first year, I wanted the number 9, but I couldn't get it. So I lost my mom when I was a kid. I was 9 years old when I lost my mom, and I always cherished the number 9. So being able to rock 6 at North Carolina, not being able to get 9, then going to Kentucky to get 9, then here when the number has a meaning to me. So
That's great. Yeah, 9's my lucky number, man. So wear it well. It's a number that's been worn great at USC. My first person that comes to mind for me is Marquise Lee. I don't know if there's somebody else that
Juju Smith-Schuster, but that kind of shows our differences.
Now, Marquise Lee was a two-sport athlete at USC. He was a star receiver, won the Biletnikoff Award. He was also a track star, was in the long jump here. It says in your bio that you were a sprinter in high school.
Yeah, I was.
Take us into the sprinting career.
I did 4x1, 4x2. I did all that back in high school. I think my last year before COVID hit, I ran like 12 seconds. It was like 12:30 or something like that, and I came like third place.
You were moving around that track.
Yeah, I was
Did you ever look around and notice that you were bigger than all the other sprinters?
Yeah, everybody was on the side. So.
I'm sure that helps you though as a defensive lineman ultimately. Sure. Yeah. Also basketball. Yeah. You're a 3-sport athlete.
That makes sense. I mean, you use that a little bit on the basketball court.
Yeah, I still got it though.
You still hoop?
Yeah. I can still go. Play a little pickup.
Okay.
Well, I wanted to ask you about one more guy, Jakeem Stewart. Everyone's been talking about him. He's a young guy that you guys get to mentor a little bit, but everyone's pretty excited about him. What are you seeing from him in spring?
He's a hard worker. He's a person that's coachable, not also by the coaches, but a person that's coachable by players. He's a guy that wants to come in for extra work and just be the best he can be. So every day he comes and he brings it.
Well, I think this USC defensive line is going to be a story, guys. We talked to Ja last week. We talked to you this week. It just looks like a different crew. It looks ready for Big Ten football. Was that part of your decision, coming over here? I was going to ask you about that, too. Is that Big Ten is a league where your position stays on the field, where your position maybe matters a little bit more than it does in some other leagues?
I think football is football. Every conference is different, but I think, cherishing the defensive lineman is very important. ACC, SEC, Big Ten, I think is a very important part on the field. So
it certainly is in the games that we're expecting to come up this year. So looking forward to you dominating that line of scrimmage. The other side of the line of scrimmage, we know we got big Elijah Paige. He's coming up next on Trojans Live. Hey, Trojan fans, did you know the Ralph's app gives you easy access to weekly sales and personalized coupons? You can earn fuel points too. Check out the app today and save while you cheer us on to another great season. Ralph's, proud partner of USC Athletics. And when you've got good beer and good vibes, it's all Buena. Stone Buena Vesa Salt and Lime Lager is Baja-inspired and imported from San Diego, located near you at find.stonebrewing.com. Thank you, Keeshawn. More Trojans Live is next.
An LA USC Trojan Media Network. Presented by Pachanga Resort Casino.
We're back with Trojans Live.
It's a touchdown, USC.
And it is Trojans Live on this Monday, April 21st. getting you ready for the USC football season all over spring football. Along with Keely Orr, back to your host, Jordan Moore.
Fight on, Trojans, and fly on with ONT. Ontario International Airport is a proud sponsor of our USC Trojans. Visit SoCalSoEasy.com to book your journey through ONT today, and don't wait until game time to plan for your retirement. Open your free iTrust Capital account today and get your crypto IRA. iTrust Capital, it's the official cryptocurrency platform of the USC Trojans. Jordan Moore, Keely, your Elijah Paige joins us now. Redshirt sophomore, left tackle, coming off a great season. Elijah, college football, it's a crazy thing, man. You go from being the rookie to the vet in a minute, and you and Alani, I assume, have to feel that way a little bit. You're playing with some older guys that they brought in as transfers, but in terms of returning guys, what's it like coming back as the established guy in the line?
Yeah, it's definitely different. I just remember 2 years ago I was the young guy, and Jonah and Justin Dedich were kind of taking me under their wing, and now I'm seeing me and Alani and Tobias and Killian and all of us doing that same thing, so it's definitely different.
I know at the beginning of spring you said you wanted to be a more vocal leader. How's that been going for you?
Good. It's definitely something to work on. I'm not used to it, but I've been trying, and I think I'm getting a lot better at it. So,
you've made a major change since we last saw you. We discussed this already. Not the first to ask, but what went into? You had the locks going, man. Yep. You had the flow coming out of the bottom of the helmets. It's high and tight now. What went into the change?
Yeah, just a fresh start. It's kind of a lot to deal with in the helmet, so kind of just a fresh start. Yeah.
You don't worry about losing your power? Isn't there supposed to be power in the hair?
He's not Thor.
Well, I don't know. I guess we'll find out.
Okay.
But, you know.
Yep. Not worried about that.
On the whole, how do you look back on last season being a full-time starter in that regard?
Yeah, I think it was really good for me. Got a lot of experience. Obviously, didn't start off how I wanted to personally, but felt like I grew throughout the year, so I was very happy about that.
Yeah, it seems like you got confidence as the games progressed. How did that evolve in that sense?
Yeah, I think it was just experience. It's just experience. Just getting used to playing in loud environments, different environments, and yeah.
You mentioned Jonah Monheim. Hopefully we'll hear his name called later this week in the NFL draft. But you end up losing your center and your left guard. Your left guard is a guy who's right next to you, so I imagine there's a strong relationship there. And then everyone on the offensive line is keying off the center. What's the bigger adjustment for you, trying to adjust to new people? Is it that guy next to you? Is that the one that's really your partnership? Or is it having sort of a new leader in the group and a new center?
Yeah, I think they're both very important. I think that having a new center is definitely different and something to get used to, but I also think that having a new left guard playing next to DJ, I think it's definitely something that's very important too, so yeah.
What's DJ like?
Awesome. I love DJ. I've gotten to bond with him a lot off the field too. Really like DJ, and I really like playing next to him.
We've heard great things about both Tobias Raymond and Justin and how they've grown so far. It almost feels like Justin's time against Texas A&M kind of was similar to your 2023 Holiday Bowl start. Yeah. What have you seen from both of them?
Yeah, they're both doing a great job. Tobias is doing an awesome job, and Justin is too. I think that Justin getting in the bowl game after I went down was very good for him, and I think I would agree with you that it was very similar to my bowl game experience, and I think that, that was great for him.
New offensive line coach this season, but a guy you already knew. So what's that relationship been like for the guys in the room?
Yeah, it's amazing. I was really close with Coach Hansen, even when he was a tight ends coach. He recruited my teammate Deuce Robinson, so he was at our school all the time, my high school, and developed a great relationship with him. And it's awesome. Love Coach Hansen.
We were just talking about how much bigger the defensive line seems this spring for you. How are you feeling it? Do you sense a difference there?
Yeah, there's definitely a difference. I love going against those guys. You guys can see they're a lot bigger, a lot stronger, and Coach Henny has those guys. They're doing a great job.
I was talking about the relationship. You're listening to Elijah Paige on Trojans Live. The relationship, the line always has to have that tight bond. But I'm thinking about the quarterback and the offensive line. When you had a guy like Caleb back there, there really had to have been a certain way to the offensive linemen were thinking about it, right? I mean, he's just keeping plays alive forever. How about the quarterback room that we have? Does anything change as an offensive lineman when a different quarterback goes in? Did anything change last year? When Jaden came in, and obviously he's in the pole position to lead this team for this season.
Yeah, it's obviously a lot different, but really at the end of the day, as an offensive lineman, it just comes down to blocking your guy. And obviously I didn't block for Caleb, but I know I watched Caleb, and he would do a lot in the backfield, and it would take a lot longer. And that might be the case with other quarterbacks, but really, in my mind, I'm just blocking until the play's over.
What's Maiyava like in a huddle?
Yeah, he's great.
I guess we don't huddle that much. That's really like the old school. I guess the question is, what's he like as a leader for the offense? Because they used to say like a guy in the huddle is a presence, but no one huddles anymore.
Yeah, he's a great leader. I think that he's grown a ton since the day he got here. Obviously, he was a new guy, so it wasn't very. He wasn't very loud, but he's grown. I've seen him grow, and he's one of our leaders on offense. So yeah.
For you personally, what are you trying to accomplish this upcoming season? What are you trying to work on?
Just a little bit of everything. There's a million things that I want to work on, get better at. So yeah, just be more consistent. That's the kind of what I've been trying to focus on this spring ball. So yeah.
It's great to have you back, man, leading this offensive line. Really looking forward to seeing this group. And spring's just about over, and then we'll have the long wait to begin for us. But can't wait for the Coliseum Saturdays in the fall, man.
No doubt.
Appreciate you. We talked about Keeshawn's incredible sprinting ability, but I think our next sprinter might be just a slight tick better. We have Dajaz coming up on Trojans Live.
ESPN LA USC Trojan Media Network. Presented by Pechanga Resort Casino.
And it is Trojans Live on this Monday, April 21st. Along with Keely Orr, back to your host, Jordan Moore.
Our Women's Spotlight is brought to you by Sprouts Farmers Market, open 7 days a week. Visit your neighborhood Sprouts for good-for-you groceries and great prices on the freshest produce. In the Spotlight is Dajaz DeFrand of USC Women's Track and Field. Jordan Moore, Keeley. Your Deja, good to have you on. Welcome. Another transfer. So I'll start with what brought you to USC, because you're not from out here.
Yeah, definitely just everything that USC can bring to me. I love the coaching staff. I love all my teammates, and I feel like I can do a lot here.
You just finished the indoor season. How did that go?
It went way better than I can ever expect. Like, I know it's just crazy that I won the 60 and not even making it like in the finals at all my first 2 seasons. So it's just amazing.
What was the difference there? How did you ultimately win that?
Just wanting it real bad. Like, I feel like I needed to have that win.
Is the 60, if people don't realize this, that you just ran indoor track and field. Now it's the outdoor track and field season. The two just run right into each other, basically. So from an athletic perspective, you basically don't stop. But the difference now is it becomes the 100 in the outdoor, which is what everyone's used to. The 60 to me, the 100's about to start. The 60 to me, is it just almost entirely about how quickly you get out of the blocks?
Yes, as soon as you get out, you just have to go. That's all you can do is just go. So the 60 is like you get out and then you just have to hold it. Like, that's it. Just hold it.
And what's the key to getting out of the blocks quickly?
Think like exploding out, basically. You just explode.
It's insane how technical the adjustments you have to make. You're talking about milliseconds and seconds. Does that get frustrating at all that you have to really fine tune everything?
No, not really. I think it's all about track. It's like finding the little things to make you better. So I think it's just you're used to it at this point. Yeah.
And then what's the difference for you when you run the 100 versus run the 200, or run the 60 versus run the 200?
Everything is just about the ending, really. So the 60 is the start, but once you get to the longer stuff, it's just holding it towards the end. So the 200, you get a good curve, but you still have the last 100 to go. So you just have to hold what you built from the curve, and then the 100, you just get out the 60 and just try to hold it for the rest.
What's it been like working with Coach Watts?
It's been amazing. He brings the energy, definitely. He's a nice coach.
The men's team won the national championship. Both men's and women's programs ranked super high, but the men won the national championship. Does that raise the internal competition a little bit? They set the bar?
Definitely. That's all we can talk about is getting up there with them.
It's all they can talk about, I'm sure.
For sure.
Jordan mentioned it, but the indoor season runs right into the outdoor season. How do you stay sharp and stay fresh from a physical perspective?
I think since it goes by so quickly, the indoor season, you're already prepared and ready. You already have everything going. So it's just keeping the right mindset.
I always compare sprinters to Ferraris. I'm not sure people understand sort of the training. Take people into your training, because it really is just what's the longest distance that you run?
The 200, or maybe a 4x4. Oh. We'll do a 300.
So what was the last time you ran a mile?
Never. Never run a mile. No.
That's what's amazing to me is you are an elite runner, and you are literally that is so far.
Yeah. No.
The disgust.
Are you tired after running 100?
Yeah. Because it's everything you have. Literally everything you have in that small section.
What hurts? Your lungs or your body?
Everything. Mainly for me, since I have asthma, probably my lungs.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
How do you become such a great track and field athlete with asthma?
You just have to go through it, go through the pain.
Oh my gosh, clearly.
Am I making this up? Doesn't Noah have asthma? Somebody big had asthma. No,
a lot of people in track have asthma. A lot of people. Everybody's taking their pump.
That is wild.
Yeah, that is wild. So, where are you at? Are you trying to build towards peaking at the end of outdoor season? But you just came off a championship. How do you sort of manage your timetable?
It's all about how you separate the meets and what you do in practice. So you don't want to go super, super hard right away, right into the beginning of the season, because you're not going to have any momentum going into the last. So you just want to build it up, build practice up, build your weights up all the way into the end so you can be ready.
Now I know we're supposed to wrap it up, but I have a burning question. You're one of the most decorated track and field athletes in Nebraska history. Your dad played football in Nebraska, but then you went to FSU and you were at USC. What, did you just want to be different? You didn't want to go to Nebraska?
No, it wasn't a place for me. But I have like a lot of family in Florida, so that just always felt like home to me.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry, I was very curious about that.
Well, your new home is LA, and we're very happy to have you. You got the dual meet coming up. That can get a little spicy.
I heard.
A lot of running around with fours down, and who knows what's going to happen, but that's coming up. That's on the road, right? That's at UCLA.
Yeah.
So enjoy that, your first real rivalry experience here at USC, and we look forward to you competing for a championship after that. Dajaz DeFrand, thanks you so much. More Trojans Live to come.
Trojan Media Network. Presented by Pachanga Resort Casino.
We're back with Trojans Live.
It's a touchdown, USC.
And it is Trojans Live on this Monday, April 21st. Getting you ready for the USC football season all over spring football. Along with Keely Orr, back to your host, Jordan Moore.
Want the inside scoop on this game and all things Trojans? Be sure to sign up for the 3 Torches presented by Smart and Final. It's a free newsletter. You'll hit your email inbox 3 times a week with game info, player insights, and more. Go to usctrojans.com/3torches and sign up. And USC fans, you can win a 4-bedroom, 3-bath home in Temecula Valley. Play slots or table games at Pachanga Resort Casino through May 30 to earn entries. Visit pachanga.com or call 888-PACHANGA for details. Our football roundtables more of a
triangle?
I don't know. It's
Line?
just me and Keely here at the end. We shout out to our guys that aren't here tonight. Sean Cody Kessler. We're coming to the end here of another great Trojans Live season. We'll thank everyone in the final segment, as well as so many people that put this show on. But thank you to our guys, Sean and Cody, as well. I want to talk a little schedule here as we go into it. It's crazy because the next time we'll have a Trojans Live will be the Monday of game week, right? So it's a long time, it feels like, from now until then. But once it's then you're on the ride. And, I was looking at the schedule. What's the first thing that sort of stands out to you when you look at USC's 2025 slate?
Well, full disclosure, I printed out on my notes the schedule.
I like that.
So if I'm referencing it, that's what I'm looking at. Yep. Just given the era of USC that I've covered so far, the first thing that stands out to me is that second game, actually. Georgia Southern head coach Clay Helton comes back to the Coliseum. So that, to me, stands out because usually those non-conference games outside of Notre Dame, you kind of, it's not the most fun for fans in that regard.
This was the year that we were supposed to start the home and home with Ole Miss, too, right?
I believe so, yes.
It could have been a USC versus Kiffin. It ended up being a USC versus Helton. So yeah. I guess either way, it was going to end up being one of those. That's going to be a weird one for sure. I like to break the schedule into thirds a little bit. Yeah. And I think that the first third, the first 4 games, is really manageable, and they probably need to manage it in looking at it because the schedule to me is a little harder than I thought it was. Just looking at it now and maybe doing a little bit more running the numbers and the research kind of thing. The first third, though, as Keely mentioned, it's Missouri State and Georgia Southern at home. I get all the Georgias all mixed
Georgia
up.
Southern, correct.
So obviously, those are 2 games that they call them bye games. I mean, you're paying the team to come to your house. So you need to win those games for sure. Then you get a Big Ten road game, but it's at Purdue. Purdue finished dead last in the Big Ten last season. It's one you got to get. USC really struggled on the road in the Big Ten last year. We can get to that a little bit, but that one they got to get. And then they come home and play Michigan State, a team that didn't have a great season last year either. So it really feels like they have to start 4-0.
For sure. And it's interesting, even when you're talking to Coach Reed about just the PI calls or lack thereof, it really was, I feel like, in some ways a culture shock going to the Big Ten. The away games, the fans are into it. It doesn't matter what their current record is, they are there and they are into it. And I feel like the team was a little bit taken aback by that. So just, I think, going to Purdue, making sure you just check that one off the box that, hey, we have learned from our errors on the road in our first season in the Big Ten, and now we know what it takes, and we're going to get it done.
Yeah, the only road game they won last year was UCLA, which is obviously, Pac-12, and a rival and across town, so a very different situation in terms of flying to road games. It was not a formula for success last year. So if you could tick that early, I think that would sort of breathe a little confidence into everybody. Purdue has a new coach, so don't necessarily know what to expect from them. But how about this for the middle 4 games? At Illinois, which I had forgotten. They won 10 games last year.
Sneaky.
They bring back a stud quarterback. Home Michigan, which is the best home game on the schedule. At Notre Dame, where USC hasn't won since 2011. Mm-hmm. And at Nebraska, which is probably the toughest atmosphere. Maybe we'll talk about at Oregon too, at Notre Dame. Yeah. There's some tough atmospheres, but at Nebraska, you just know, sold out. I mean, that's sort of classic Big Ten. That is a tough section, but you noted something about it.
Yes. Now you listed it off in order, in consecutive order, but there are 2 bye weeks there. So it's at Illinois, bye week, come home to play Michigan, then you go at Notre Dame, then bye week, and then you go to Nebraska. So I think that definitely helps because obviously if you're going to play that back-to-back, it doesn't bode well. But
yeah, and it could be really physical. Yeah. You talk about Michigan's and Notre Dame's, these could be physical games. Injuries start to pile up at that point of the season. The bye weeks could come, really in handy at that point. I think the Big Ten's been really good to USC in the first 2 years in terms of not giving awful weather. November 1 at Nebraska. Okay, maybe it's not great, but maybe not terrible either. Yeah. Could be all right. And then after that, the final 4 games, they're all in the Pacific time zone, and the only one not at the Coliseum is at Oregon, which you could maybe get some rain up there, but those are, you could close the season. Home Northwestern, home Iowa, at Oregon, which is obviously a difficult game. They won the league last year, and then home UCLA. Some real opportunity to finish strong.
Yeah, I think it's what we just talked about. You got to start strong, check off Purdue, get through that middle four that you could trip up, but make sure you lean on those buys, and then just, really just finish hard and make sure you get the crescendo at Oregon. You mentioned 2011 was the last time that USC won there. If USC can do that, obviously the trajectory is in the right.
Same with Oregon.
Yeah.
USC won at Notre Dame, at Oregon in 2011, haven't won it either since. So
yes.
that ultimately maybe is what this schedule comes down to, is can you get over at least one of those hurdles and get back on the right side of it. And then I think just in general, handling the road this year. We talked about the struggles last year, but just in general, this home schedule looks much more manageable. I mean, Michigan at home, is difficult, but they might have a true freshman quarterback. They're coming off a not so great season. They're obviously post Harbaugh. You could run the slate at home. I mean, the home schedule is there to be won. The road schedule is very difficult.
Yeah, but I feel like looking at what USC did in the Big Ten last year, I just don't know what to make as far as, this should happen, this shouldn't happen.
Oh, I'm with you.
So for me,
it all feels very new.
It does. So that's why I don't really have a good Geiger counter here, because I'm like, yeah, on paper that sounds good, but we've seen so many variables come into play last season that I don't have a great sense of it yet.
Yep, and some of these programs you just really don't want to overlook. You can look at a school like Iowa and go, oh, I don't know, but we saw them in a Holiday Bowl. They can be physical. They have a great coach, so it's certainly not overlooking anyone. But it will be a very difficult road schedule, because a lot of those teams are the teams we have seen before, as we mentioned, with Notre Dame and Oregon. All right, we're going to come back and wrap up our final Trojans Live of the spring next.
Is the ESPN LA USC Trojan Media Network, presented by Pechanga Resort Casino.
And it is Trojans Live on this Monday, April 21st. Along with Keely Orr, back to your host, Jordan Moore.
Monster Energy is the official energy drink partner of USC. Tear into a can of the meanest energy drink on the planet. Monster Energy, unleash the beast. One final segment of Trojans Live for the season. We'll be back in the fall. Our over-under is presented by Pechanga Resort Casino, proud partner of USC Athletics. Jordan Moore, Keely York. Keely, you're the only one to ask the question. It's NFL draft week. Kind of a weird draft for USC.
Yeah.
Not expecting a ton. I set the over-under at 3.5 Trojans drafted this week.
Geez, putting me on the spot. I'm the sole person answering this, and you're putting me on the spot.
You get to decide. The names I have listed: Woody Marks, Jalen Smith, Jonah Monheim, Jacoby Covington, Eddie Chaplitsky, Achille Arnold, Mason Cobb sound like the most likely Trojans to hear their name called.
Eddie Chaplitsky, MVP.
I'd draft him.
Yeah. Are you kidding
little
me?
6th, 7th rounder. You get yourself a punter for the next 10 years.
Yeah.
I think
You're
the teams
set.
that have done that's worked out pretty well.
I will say over.
Yeah. I think ultimately they'll get the numbers, but I don't, we're not going to have, I don't think anyone in the first round or anything like that. It doesn't seem like from the mocks, but
Jalen Smith has been picking up steam.
Yeah, and he's a good player for sure. I just want to make sure before we're done here, we take the time to thank everyone involved in the show. I never thank these guys by name. They put on this incredible stream. This has gotten better year after year under the leadership of Alex Gomez and Steve Beltran and Andrew Geisler's become a part of our Trojans Live family as well. All of our audio, radio, and everything. Rick Cutler does. He's the one that makes sure that we sound good in everything that we do across the USC Trojans Media Network. Also want to thank Gia Lares, who books our show and comes up with all the great guests. It's been a really fun crew this spring, particularly. Thank Katie Ryan as well, who brings in all the football guests, and Aiden Bloomstein as well. Is there anyone else that we should thank?
Our lovely co-hosts. We're thinking of them.
Yeah.
We already thanked them, but yes, everyone.
Thank you, Keely.
Oh, yeah, sure. Thank you, Jordan.
Thank our friends at 710.
Yeah.
Our new partner this year, and more to come. Thanks so much to our audience and everyone that follows along. Fight on, everybody.